And action.
Podcast episode 26.
It is 26. What's the date today?
This episode is podcast 26.
Are we still in January?
It's 5:03, January 29th. Tuesday. Not to be confused with Wednesday or Monday.
Ooh, tomorrow's Wednesday. Double gym day. For you.
Double gym day. Jimmery. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. What's going on in the world?
Well, we gave away some rifle cases.
We did give rifle cases away.
Put it on live feed.
We live feed
750
it.
some comments on that Facebook one. I don't know what was on Instagram.
I swear to God, Sonny, I put your name on every one of those papers. I don't know how they kept pulling.
Some little cunt showed up talking shit. And then he went and left me a fucking 1-star review on Google.
He doesn't know how any of this works, right?
Fucking retard.
Like 1 star matters.
Fucking idiot. All you did was skyline yourself. Now everybody can find your dumbass. Anything else? A lot of fucking rifle cases out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of rifle case building. A lot of mailbox building.
How's your new guy?
It's awesome. We could get a lot of video. I mean, we have to task him with things that are solely for video purposes, because he is Tyler-esque.
Yes.
He is Tyler-esque.
Mixed with Rain Man.
Mixed with Rain Man. You know what? How about tomorrow?
I bet he can count really well.
How about tomorrow we get him a string of those lights, and we just pick a tree. It kind of doesn't matter, and we go like, "Hey, put these lights up in the tree," and just video him doing that.
I don't think he can do it.
I think it would be good video though.
I don't think he can get himself into the tree.
No, he's Tyler-esque. He can get in there. It's just how he gets in there.
He can get in there.
Just how he gets in the tree.
He's gonna gnaw. He's gonna go get a butter knife and saw the tree down. I don't think he can get in the tree. He doesn't have a lot of manual labor capability.
Well, only one way to find out. Let's put some wood chips down somewhere.
And what?
See if he can run a rake.
Oh, gotcha.
Do a shovel.
Gotcha. We do need some. I need some wood chips in the rabbit thing. And I need some rail ties to divert some water up there. It's fucking turning into like a fucking 6-inch soup.
We'd probably be better off with just doing like you did like we did up top, dirt, to divert that water. Because the water will just go under the rail ties.
Okay, where are we going to get the dirt? You don't have a tractor here to dig dirt with.
Yeah, I could get some dirt out of that tractor. I bet I can.
Where are you going to get the dirt?
You know, I'll sneak around. And find some dirt.
Okay.
Maybe.
Chris Seaton. These are comments from a video yesterday, I think. Order number 140989. I ordered a 44 Coyote Riggers belt on 1/23/2019 Wednesday. On Monday, 1/28/2019, my belt was in the mailbox. When ordering the belt, many times it said 8 to 12 weeks shipping. Even at checkout, it told me the same thing. I followed John's advice, read everything before I made my purchase, and had zero problems. And this was my first, but definitely not last purchase from SOE. Great video. Hope to order more. Made in the motherfucking USA product soon. Chris, thank you, man.
And it's not like we're getting orders and going, "Oh, we got 12 weeks to do this." That's not how it works. Especially with belts, man. John is cutting belts every single day. So, you know, if you're looking at 12 weeks, it's because you're probably ordered a fucking NSW chest rig and Highlander with pink thread. Or something crazy like that.
The social media game is definitely on level 10 at SOE. Cross media, several platforms. Love the new stuff. Keep up great work, fellas. I can't only listen to one. I hear the podcast and then watch the videos. Body language adds a lot to the info they put out. I agree with that for sure.
That's why I try and slouch a lot when the videos, so it looks.
Social media, we cross post to MeWe, Facebook, Instagram. Although you can't put video up on MeWe yet. Why don't you kick that shit all the way back there?
Because it's covering a fucking pipe.
Gotcha.
A poop pipe.
The videos are definitely stepped up. Gabby's got her shit fucking going for sure. Brando comes down every Friday. Typically we've done a little intro, which gives us a commercial basically for Instagram and Facebook, and then we use that on the lead-in for the video. So we'll shoot a new video on Friday. I don't know what that'll be. I think we're going to do large tool bags this time. So we'll go around and film a bunch of our own stuff, and then he'll come down and do his shit, and then once we have his piece, we'll put those out. We got some other stuff coming too, some newer shit, some different shit you guys haven't seen. I think we're about to run a little, well, we can't tell you what it is. It's going to be a sale item. A pouch, kind of like a little mystery pouch. Not only do we have people living off the tit of the government, the millennials are mostly trust fund babies. I don't know about that. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the fucking case at all. They might live like what we call trust fund babies. And when we say millennials, it was pointed out to me, like, when I say millennials, I think shithead little 20-year-old kid that I want to fucking strangle.
Yeah, they're not 20.
They're not. They're fucking 35 years old. They have families and cars and fucking $100,000 loans and student loans.
I think we're on
and
like
homes.
Gen Z or X or something now.
So literally born with a silver spoon in their mouth and a Lamborghini waiting for them in junior year of high school. I don't think that's the case. And let's say that is the case. That's your generation that we're dealing with right now. Those are the adults. Those are going to be your managers in these businesses. So how do we fucking get a hold of them and develop them and use them to our benefit? How do we do that? Frisella talks about that a lot. We get kids in here and I'm like, I can really build this kid. And I work for 3 or 4 days thinking I can build this kid. And I'm like, it literally is keeping me from doing everything I need to do through the day, as well as fucking the people around us, in order to develop this kid. We are literally almost better off just doing it ourselves. Like it literally will take 8 man hours to get 2 solid man hours of work out of one of these kids. So at that point, I can do an hour, Jeff can do an hour, and we can just be like, fuck it. We'll say, like, it's just not, it doesn't.
That's technically the hardest part, is when the new guys come in and, John will be like, I don't know, we need wood chips or something. He'll be like, have them do it. And then you're just up there watching them just not being able to comprehend how to make something happen. And so, he'll bust me all the time. I'll be out there fucking doing it. And he'll be like, why isn't he doing it? It's just like, yeah, he doesn't even understand which end of the rake goes in the ground. I can't waste
That's
that
true.
much time.
Like, that's for real true. Storage ever get cold enough to freeze water? No, it doesn't. We're in the ground. It could produce tiny pinholes that you can't see. Yes, it does not ever freeze in here.
It doesn't freeze in here.
It's like we're neutral. It's fucking cold outside. It's supposed to be fucking snowstorm tonight. It's supposed to be 0 digits. We're in here. There's no heat on right now, I don't think, and we're in here short sleeve.
Yeah, I think it's just the product eating through the cans, because it doesn't matter what time of year it is.
Oh, he's talking about the soda cans.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what time of year it is. We will lose all the soda out here is in tubs, because every 6 months, some of them just decide fuck it and they exfil out of their cans.
Skully, how do you feel about the FAL, and do you think it and the Galil are still viable weapon systems? I think you're going to find out in Africa pretty soon.
Okay, so is the FAL and the Galil viable weapon system? Anything that shoots a bullet is a viable weapon system. It just depends on what you want to do with it. Here's the problem with both the FAL and the Galil. Kind of more the Galil than the FAL is, well, even the FAL too. Optic mounts are a fucking nightmare for those guns. Where you're going to put it, how you're going to mount it. I mean, even the mounts that come out of Israel that hook right to the receiver, they're not very good. Same thing with the FAL. You're buying a new cover. You're doing all kinds of crazy shit. Nothing is going to hold 0 on a top cover very well, like an AK, because every time you shoot it, that top cover is actually moving. So a FAL is a fucking awesome rifle. It's a great battle rifle. But truth be told, anybody out there, and I know I'm going to have some fucking national match shooter be like, I beg to differ. But anybody running around on the battlefield that's not using an optic is disadvantaged. Period. And that includes guys with red dots. Red dots are cool if you're fucking running around your house or you're shooting at 50 yards, but once you have to start IDing targets past 100 yards, you got to have a fucking optic, period. So, really, I'm not grabbing my FAL or my Galil to get in the fight. It's going to be either my M4 carbine or something similar to that, maybe the Tavor. But they're great rifles. But iron sights is just it's done. Those fucking days are over. You're not PIDing your targets with iron sights. You're not going to be as fast as anybody that has some sort of optic. Even a red dot. Red dot beats iron sights. Optics with magnification beat red dots, hands down. So
what's PID?
That's the problem. Identifying your target.
What's PID?
Positively identifying.
Okay. Does the Tavor take M16 mags?
The Tavor takes M16 mag, yes.
And then he goes on to say, "Oh shit, John, I have a Paracongo FAL. I'm a huge fan. Mine has an 18-inch barrel. I might SBR it to 14 and run a can on it. It's already got an Aimpoint Pro, and I'm a huge fan of this setup."
I mean, that's cool, right? Everybody wants coolness, but remember, the FAL, like the M14, was designed to be those full-size lengths. That is where those guns are their optimum.
I would think in a six-man team, it'd be nice to have one, if not two, fucking.
The shorter you make that gun, the more report, the more flash is coming out of that thing, and you're losing velocity. And I know somebody's gonna be like, "It's only 250 feet per." At long ranges, the reason why you would have a 7.62, that's what matters, because you're gonna go transonic. You're gonna go transonic at 900 yards. So why do I want to cut the range down on that thing? So I don't know. Having a folding stock on it is legit. The pair model's fine, but once you start cutting that barrel length down, you're really,
I would think, for shooting through cars and fucking blocking shit,
you're really changing the dynamics of the gun.
I wasn't thinking more. I was thinking more like heat.
Heat, yeah.
Heat. Be nice.
If you got a full auto one,
it'd be nice to have a 308 rifle in the squad. Thank you, John and Skully. I think Thomas slept in his micro rig. The patches and bag were greatly appreciated. You people are the best. Not National Guard, but the Army's old guard in Arlington. Thanks. That's the guy we sent the stuff for his kid's birthday.
Oh, cool. I'm glad he liked it.
Jeff, do me a favor. Give me a month of aspartame-free life. Stop drinking the Pepsi and order diet drink and other diet drinks and start hitting the Berkey water. Let me know if your legs feel better.
I've actually done both. So,
and he did feel better.
Matter of factly, no.
Yes, he did.
I don't feel better.
He stopped lactating.
Matter of factly, Pepsi actually got rid of aspartame. There was a year where aspartame was taken out of the product, and I used to seek out, because you could still get both, but you could get the aspartame-free Diet Pepsi. And I have gone. You need to understand that I've been drinking Pepsi products since I was probably, my mom used to take it and put it in a straw and give it to me as a baby. So I've been drinking Pepsi products
with your laudanum.
Yes, with my laudanum. My whole entire life, hundreds and thousands of gallons of Diet Pepsi. If they need it, if when I die, they really should do a case study. Cut it all up and see if there's Diet Pepsi in my veins. It won't matter. My problems with my legs are from the Marine Corps.
That's the Japanese landmines.
Yeah, from the Japanese landmines. My knees are flat. So everywhere where it's supposed to be round, they're flat. And the tendons are torn up on the inside and outside of my legs. I am currently waiting for the technology to come around legs, where I can just what's that thing that I 3D print a new knee and slap it on there and be good to go.
Robot legs.
Yeah, robot legs. That's what I'm waiting for.
I watched a cool video today about heroin.
Heroin.
They came out with heroin to beat the morphine addiction.
The morphine addiction.
Because our lunatic asylums and jails were full of fucking morphine addicts. So they came out with heroin. Sears and Roebuck actually would send you, the pharmaceutical companies would actually send you through the mail a couple days worth of dosage of fucking heroin. You could buy it through Sears and Roebuck, the whole deal. They had a traveling salesman that would come to your house and just give you heroin.
It's crazy when you think of the drugs. It's crazy when you think of the drugs that are prevalent today that are illegal. And if you go back 100 years and kind of look at what they were doing, like laudanum was really big. And at the end of the Civil War, there was actually a Civil War colonel, a Confederate who I think he lost his leg or whatever, but was addicted to
Laudanum.
Opium.
Is opium and laudanum the same thing?
I think it is. Was addicted to it. And that's and he came up with an idea and a clinic. He actually made a clinic so people could kick the addiction to the opium-based product. And heroin was what they were using to kick the addiction. And then cocaine, 50 years later,
wine.
They were using cocaine to kick the addiction to heroin, and it's crazy. Like they used to,
and then
alcoholics.
Bayer actually is who made heroin. It was a Bayer product, and then when they started outlawing it, they switched everything over to aspirin, and they became an aspirin company basically. So all your geniuses through history that we talk about. They also have like this other side, like this Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde side. That's because most of them were addicts of some sort. Like all the people through history that have done fucking great, amazing things that we talk about these days, all had some fucking other side where they were on some fucking, drug. Would they have been the geniuses they are today without the drug? Like that's really the question. Because find one that wasn't. Fucking every person that we fucking talk about through history all was a drug addict of some sort. They all had some enhancement. So find the largest intersection in your town and string up the pedos there. It may just work.
Well, it won't work. I mean, reality is as human beings we are fucking disgusting, and we work in cycles. So you can kill as many as you want. A new one is coming up tomorrow. So,
and then for everyone we know about, there's a thousand that
there's
you
a
don't,
thousand you don't.
And they
know.
walk amongst you.
All you do is when you do stuff like that, truth be told, anything, whether it's let's say you're anti-gay or you're anti-whatever,
or cross-dresser, transgender.
Once you start persecuting people like that, you don't get rid of it. You just push it underground. You just push it
becomes
underground.
harder to find. They hunt more.
Makes it harder for you to find. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I don't know if I have a problem with it, but
with what?
With the stringing up of the pedophiles, because it all depends on where you're at and who's doing it. I mean,
and the other problem with that is when it becomes normal to kill them. How many people are we going to kill and use that as an excuse that really we're not? How many people have been on death row that are now off of death row because of fucking DNA? People that didn't fucking have anything to do with it. They just fucking were in jail because they were a black guy in the wrong place at the wrong time. I mean, there's a lot of them fucking getting out of prison right now that have been in prison half their fucking lives over that shit.
I feel like, being a pedophile is definitely a sickness, a disease, and you can't just lock them up and then be like, okay, 10 years from now we're going to let you go, because they're gonna repeat offend. There has to be something to it. Hopefully one day we'll be able to find that and be able to fix it in those guys. But there's a lot of places that don't even let them out anymore. Santa Ana has a wing of pedophiles in their jail that have all not been released, but they've all passed their sentencing date. So these guys have all passed their sentencing date. So according to the law, they have done the time that was required for them to be released back in society. But the state of California has deemed that they are non-releasable. So you have these guys that aren't really prisoners, but they're prisoners that are in county jail, Santa Ana County Jail. And the interesting thing is, because they're not prisoners, because they have passed their sentencing date, they actually can sue the state of California for certain things.
Amount per day, I think.
Yeah, so it's like, those guys actually get steaks. They have cable TV. They have basically kind of all the comforts if they were out in the real world, and the state of California is paying for it.
Just no children.
Yeah, I know this because at that jail, the actual sheriffs at the jail took a grill up to the roof of the jail, and once a month all the sheriffs would get together and they would grill steaks and whatever and hang out up on the guys that are working the shifts, and then they would go back to work. Well, these pedophiles get more rec time. They get more rec time than normal inmates. Well, they can't put them out in general population for rec time. So they take them to the roof of the jail, and they take them to the roof of the jail. They see the barbecue grill, and then they sue the state of California because they should have the opportunity. And the sheriffs are like, "You can't use our grill, dickheads. It's ours." And then the state of California gets sued because they should have the opportunity to grill food too, because if they were out in the real world, they'd be able to grill food. So it's crazy, but I mean, what are you going to do with them? You would be amazed. You would be amazed at how many they are. Go on your especially if you're in California. I don't know about Tennessee because I haven't really looked. But go and look at the sex registries in your neighborhood. Just go ahead and do it and look, and you're going to be horrified at how many red dots are around your neighborhood.
Keep in mind too with that, there are dudes that are fucking registered sex offenders now for literally pulling over on the side of the freeway and pissing alongside their car. Like, there's a lot of people that get on that sex registry that should not fucking be on that sex registry.
So, I mean, just take a look at that.
Every summer, I need to have 45 people to staff the restaurant I'm a chef at. For the last 3 years, I've been lucky to get 30, and most of these people don't last more than a month. We have J1 students coming from Jamaica, Romania, Russia, Kazakhstan every year to try and make up the difference. Everybody wants a job, but nobody wants to work. The core 20 or so people I have work 60 to 70 hours a week during the summer. Every single person I hire for the summer says they want to work as many hours as I can give them. Then they stop showing up after a month of 50-plus hour weeks. These are the type of people who just enough money is enough for them. I have a lot of things, guns, I want to buy, so that's why I do what I do.
It's nice to have some sort of monkey on your back. If you got a fucking monkey on your back like guns or cars or whatever, if you got that monkey, you got to go to work every day. But if you're living it, I mean, just think about the generation that we have raised. The generation that we have raised. If you have the President of the United States saying it's okay for a child to live at his parents' house till he's 27 years old.
What president said that?
Obama. That is fucking crazy. That is crazy talk. All you're doing is coddling these kids, and you are making their life worse.
That's the Agenda 21 shit.
Yeah, you are making their life worse by doing this, and that's part of it. We have not created a solid work ethic where people want to go and work. Why?
That's how you destroy society.
Yeah. Why? Because they don't have that monkey on their back. They don't have to make rent. They don't have to buy food. They don't have to put fucking gas in their car. They don't have to do that shit. And because of that, you're never going to have a workforce. You're never going to have a homegrown workforce that is going to work as well as some of these people coming from foreign countries. Because if you're coming from fucking Jamaica,
that's because they've lived with nothing. They've had nothing.
You know what that money's going to buy you. So
if these kids are staying at home till they're 27, they can pay that fucking $100,000 student loan, so that student loan bubble doesn't fucking explode. Of course, they want them to stay home till they're 27. We got the same thing here, Dave. That was Dave Duvall that said that. Same thing. We get these guys that come in. Locals come in and want to work. They don't ever fuck. There is not a fucking local dude, right? We don't have a local dude working here. We have dudes working here that now live here. We got one that just came here from New Hampshire. and we got one that's here right now from Texas. They all walk through the door wanting to work, needing to work. This is what I want to do. I'm going to really make something. I'm going to, be a man, become, whatever they're running from something. But without fail, I'll walk out this door, and one of them will be here, one of them won't be here, because as soon as you're not looking, they can kind of drift away. Like, I'm really surprised that the one is even here on Monday. I really didn't expect him to be here. I didn't expect him to come in at all. So we'll see. 45 miles long, straight. Wow. I only have to drive 6 miles to work. One evening, I set off late and got caught in traffic, and took me nearly an hour to get to work. A whole pissing hour to travel 6 miles. The UK is a crowded little island. 45 miles. Joy. Come to
Los Angeles. You can't do that 1 hour, man. You can spend a whole day. If you fuck up and try to drive
5-10 minute window.
Yeah, try to drive to Los Angeles during normal hours. So,
which starts at like 4 in the morning.
Yeah, even if you thought, fuck, it's noon, I should be able to run into downtown and run back because everybody's at work. Sorry, it's not gonna fucking happen. It's still gonna take you all fucking day. That's part of the reason why, when everybody goes, oh, California's so great. You could be at the beach. You could be at the beach surfing, then go out to the desert, ride your ATV, and then zip on up to Big Bear and catch some snow. It's a fucking lie. It's a lie that everybody tells themselves because they think that's really cool that I can tell people that we could do that. First off, the beach would be so fucking crowded. By the time you left there, you were completely exhausted because of all the shenanigans that are going on. And then if you're going to go out to the desert, well, that's an all-day affair. It's not like these things are even close to each other. Outside of, I guess you could go to Palm Springs, which you can't really ride out there anymore, and then jump up to Big Bear. But still, you're talking fucking hours and hours in traffic, man. If you did a day like that, unless you were rich, you could afford to go like on a Tuesday, unless you were rich, man, you would you'd want to kill yourself by the end of that day.
That's how we did it. We'd load the trailers up. We'd send a guy out Friday. He would go set up camp, unload the bikes, fuel everything up, and we would just roll out there fucking Friday night when the shit was all set up. And then we would come home Sunday and somebody else would drive. We had a driver. We had a dude that would that's what he did, was load up our bikes and do all that shit. We're so spoiled here coming from California. Like, you go to the shopping mall, even on fucking packed days, you can still find a parking space. It's so nice here that when I go to Las Vegas or Atlanta, or when I went back to California, whatever, we valet. Like, if there's not a valet at a fucking restaurant or a shopping mall, like, we're not going to that motherfucker. Like, it is so nice here, because we don't have all that bullshit. All the traffic and congestion and stuff. We used to use Coca-Cola to clean our toilets on field day in Camp Lejeune.
You could have just used the regular water at Camp Lejeune. That water's so fucking terrible.
Kip said, make an experiment, Coke versus Mexican Coke, which is better for waterboarding.
Well, here's the thing about that.
Well, the dysentery is going to kill you from the Mexican.
Yeah,
Coke.
the Mexican Coke still comes in bottles
and real sugar.
So it might be a little. If you drink a Mexican Coke, it might throw you over the top because they're still using the original formula and all that. They're not. It's not the American Coke where they're putting baby toes and stem cells inside that shit. So
did you look that up?
No, I haven't looked it up.
Fucking, there's a lot out there on it. I ordered a Petzl Zipka. Didn't even know they existed until you talked about it. Those straps on headlamps are the most aggravating part. Rob, they're nice, man. They're not like the be all end all for sure. But if you need some light, you can carry them in every fucking jacket you have. Keep them in all your vehicles. They're small. They're compact. They run for a long time on those AAA batteries. They're nice, especially if you have a hat or something. Like, putting them on your head's fine, but once you've had them on your head for a while, you will feel that shit. Putting them on a hat or something. There are other headlamps for sure that put out more light, run longer. They also have a little more weight to them. When you guys are buying any of that shit, do us a favor, do me a favor, go to our Facebook page. There's an Amazon link on our not Facebook page, but our website. Click that Amazon link. It takes you to Amazon. Looks just like Amazon. It's just normal ass Amazon. But what it does is it downloads a cookie, and for 48 hours, anything you buy at Amazon, we get a little percentage off of it. Doesn't cost you anything more. We don't see who ordered the 12-pack of butt plugs and dildos. So whatever you order, it stays anonymous. But anytime you go to Amazon and shop, if you like what you're doing and you want to help us out, just go to the fucking website first, soetacticalgear.com, click the Amazon button, and then go do your shopping. It'll give us a little piece of that.
And if you're buying a bunch of flashlights, if you're buying a bunch of headlamps and flashlights and you're going to sprinkle them around your house, so whenever you want to put that jacket on, you reach in there, get the lithium batteries to put in it, not the alkaline, and then you won't have that problem of the fucking battery off-gassing and destroying your light.
They can, but they do it fucking way, way less frequently. And a lithium battery, you know how your alkaline battery, your normal A's and double and D's and shit, about 50% you really see them start to dim. And then, you use them a little while longer and they're fucking useless. A lithium battery runs 90% and then dies. Like, you don't get as much notification that thing's starting to die. And they cost a little more, but they store fucking way longer. And then in the cold, also, something you guys might not know is keep all your electronics close to your body and your underlayer, because the cold will suck the life out of those things. It just fucking makes them not work as well. The electrons in there don't move as quickly. I'm sure somebody will tell me that I have that wrong, but the outcome is still the same, whatever the reason is. Great video. John, please tell us about your island. We can't talk about that, just like we can't talk about the fucking tunnel. I was at work for 20 hours and still made time for the gym, just like John. Like Jeff.
I don't have time for the gym.
We had a good fucking workout today, didn't we?
You did. You were pumped up when you came in. I thought you were like... You must have been listening to Eye of the Tiger, because he came in jumping up and down and hitting the fucking weights and shit. Leg day is like no bueno for me, because the tendons in my legs hurt so bad, and then for the rest of the
go lighter.
For the rest of the day, my joints will like. It feels like my knees separating, and so it's like click, 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 click for the rest of the day.
I know what you need.
And John's going to be like, why don't you just go lighter? Because every time I go to take a weight off it, John gives me that fucking pussy look. Every time. Every single time. Like, psh, can't even work out with you anymore. You're putting all the little girl weights on there.
No, that's not the case.
So I can't do that.
That's not the case. You can get big lifting little girl weights. That's not the case. Who put all those fucking Idaho potato packs on the ground? Did they fall?
They actually fell.
Where'd they fall from?
From just the bucket.
Oh, gotcha. You need Decadurable. No, that's not the answer. You know what?
If here's the thing. You just said that. Like, John goes and gets, if you've watched these videos, he goes and gets testosterone, gets his whole fucking buttocks cut wide open, and they fish shove these big ass fucking pills in his ass, and then they do some surgical sewing there.
That is not at all.
And for like a month, he's like this.
Nope.
But when they come out with a pill, I'm down like a brown cow. But
they have a pill. The problem is it goes through your liver first.
That fucking thing there, and having to go to the doctor's office every week. You do this, or you go to the doctor's office every week and get a shot. It's just.
What if you could do your own shot?
I got no time for that. I don't even have time for that. The last 3 days, I have forgotten to take my fucking medication. I don't have time.
So this morning, the only thing I did different is I have not been going to the gym with music since we started back.
Listen to Eye of the Tiger is what he was doing. It's like Rocky running.
I had music on, and it's not that I had more energy. I couldn't hear the dipshits. Like a dude came up and started talking to me, and was talking, and I thought he was standing there talking to Jeff, and then I finished I'm in the middle of my set, and I look over, and Jeff's not there. He's talking to me. I'm like, I can't hear you. And he keeps talking. I go, I have earphones in. I can't hear you. And he was just walked away.
John did it. He brought him in. He gave him like two. He asked a question. I don't even know what he asked you, and then John gave him like 2 words, and then it was fucking on. He was like, I buy this and this, and he's telling him, he's just going on, and I'm like, God damn it. and he's kind of talking at me, and this is what I do. I wait until the person looks at John and says something to John, and then I beeline to the water fountain, because then it's like, oh fuck, he's gone, and so he's just gonna talk to John, and then John's gonna go, and then eventually they'll get the hint and they'll walk away.
He said something about the water over there not being good, and I said, do you know why that is? It's not necessarily the water. It's that the water, it's chlorine, bromine, and fluorine, blocks your receptor sites so that your body cannot uptake iodine. Your body uses iodine. Your whole endocrine system is controlled by fucking iodine. And they put all that shit in the water you're drinking. I'm like, you need... Because he saw, I had some Sistina water or something. I don't remember the brand, whatever Amanda likes. We got a buddy that hooks us up with this water. It's smart water, basically. And I drink Fiji water, usually. But he mentioned something about that water. He's like, that's the best water you can get. I go, it is. I said, this water. And he said, yeah, the water here will kill you. And that's how. And then I just fucking started doing my set. So I don't know what he said beyond that. He had some factual information, but he didn't know why that was the case. So it just went from there. But you know why? The energy level... I did my video this morning outside. I never put on anything other than a t-shirt. So I went out in the cold, came back in, got ready to go, got out of the truck once I was at the gym. It was cold, went into the gym. So I was just ready to go. I never did fucking put on any other clothes or anything. So when I came in the gym, I fucking came in and it was a level that was fucking comfortable. I was just fucking ready to go.
Man, it was like Apollo Creed coming up from the floor. If John would have had American flag shorts on, that would have been it.
Maybe we should get some.
I was
American
like,
flag
God
shorts.
damn, I can't do this. Not on leg day, man. Leg day.
I was at work 20 hours and still made time for the gym. We did that one.
Good.
He's going to buy a Glock with Skully's information. I'm not sure what he's talking about.
Buy 2 Glocks.
Also, when you pay for your plates and tabs for your car every year, that's a tax. To get your driver or carry or ID, that's a tax. Not to mention your property tax and sales tax and a list of others that I did not hit on. Adam Bolin. I'm not sure what that's.
The king has got to grant you the right to do all those things. So they lie to you and say it's a license when it's really a tax, which is 100% true.
Any other wild stories of Ranger Dave, and is he going to come back again? Keep on keeping on. Love the podcast videos. Nick J.
Ranger Dave stories. I mean, Ranger Dave is just unbelievable. Like, he is the... 100% he missed his calling. The U.S. Army fucked up by letting him go, and the Air Force fucked up by letting Ranger Dave do what he wanted to do. And that's, you know, when you're a meat eater, you want to do meat eater things. And so he went CCT and fucking wanted to run in the hills. The reality is they should have snatched his ass up and put him in Skunk Works. They should have snatched his ass up and made DARPA be like, whatever program is going on right now, just give him all the pieces. Because I'm telling you, we would already be fucking... We would already be shooting lasers.
Whatever shit you're building that doesn't work, give it to Dave.
Yep, we would already be shooting lasers. We'd have fucking jetpacks. We'd be flying through the air. And all of it would be made out of PVC pipe and
Kitty
fucking
litter.
Home Depot shit. Kitty litter. Yeah, I'm not fucking exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating one bit. He's a fucking genius when it comes to Tinker Time. Just a total genius. Okay.
For you guys that don't know, Making the Cut, the Discovery TV show, he was the fucking NCOIC of fucking Combat Dive School for the Air Force. That was Dave on the television show.
Like, I mean, I don't know if I should tell the story.
You can tell it.
I guess I can. Okay, so, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Which one? I don't know which one you're doing.
I was going to say the 60 millimeter mortar.
Soy sauce. Yeah, you can tell that. You've already told it.
I've already told. I mean, that's not illegal. I don't think.
It
Anyway,
doesn't exist anymore anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore. So I have a friend who's a Green Beret, and he's a weapons specialist. And
mostly preacher building.
Yeah,
teaching
mostly
school and shit.
Teaching school, doing that kind of shit.
Not shooting at people. Green Beret.
But he's a weapons specialist, right? And so
that means he runs a museum. He doesn't actually shoot at people.
So Crazy Ranger Dave, he makes this. He decides that he's going to make a 60 millimeter mortar. Okay, it's not really a 60 millimeter mortar. Something that looks like a 60 millimeter mortar. This thing fired soy sauce bottles, so you could take a soy sauce bottle and put it in there and shoot a soy sauce bottle full of soy sauce 600 yards.
What was the propellant?
I don't know what he was using for propellant. But anyways, that's not even the point. That the thing worked is not even the point. Okay? He recreated this thing from fucking scratch to include a sight.
A TV.
It was so detailed. It was so detailed. He like brought it in one day. He brought it in and he set it up and he's like, this is I've just made this thing and I'm not a fucking mortarman, so I'm like, it looks like a fucking beer can and whatever. So he brought it in and kind of set it up and I'm like, what are you gonna do with it? He goes, I'm just gonna, I'll probably just make an anchor out of it and throw it overboard. I don't fucking play with it anymore. It was, I just wanted to see if I could do it. And
it's like the A-Team in MacGyver.
Yeah, it is like the A-Team in MacGyver. So my Green Beret buddy is walking by that and he's like, hey, who's 60 millimeter mortar? And I'm like, that's fucking Ranger Dave's. It's not really a mortar. It's a fucking soy sauce shooter. He goes, did he make that from scratch? I'm like, yes, he made it from scratch. He goes, that is the best looking sight I have seen. I mean, it's so much. He admired this thing so much that he's like, hey, do you think he would let me have it? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure he would. He was going to throw it in the ocean. But I mean, anything, when that crazy motherfucker sets his mind to doing something,
it'll get done.
It'll get done. I'm surprised he doesn't have a jetpack.
He probably does have
I'm
a
surprised.
jetpack. He drives around in an RV that has a fucking weapons cage in the fucking RV. He's got a wood-burning stove in the RV. Like, he's got 20 pieces of camo in the RV. He pulls a truck with another 20 pieces of camo. His motorcycle is on the front of the RV, and it has fucking camo on the fucking motorcycle. And then he's got, another fucking motorcycle on the back of the truck, on the back of the RV. It is crazy.
So he decides he wants to be a cowboy. He's going to learn
and lives as a fucking cowboy for like 2 years.
To be a cowboy.
Makes his own blankets.
He made everything. Like, figured out how a cowboy would make a gun holster, and he made everything from fucking scratch. And I'm like, couldn't you have bought that? He goes, yeah, but it wouldn't have been authentic. It wouldn't have been for real. So I had to make it. Just when he gets something in his head, that's why I'm saying, man, the military fucked up. As a matter of fact, DARPA, if you're listening to me, he's somewhere up in Oregon. You should just snatch his ass. Now you're going to need a cage to contain him in, and I would get some of those things, that they use for velociraptors to hold him,
to hold his neck,
to get him into the cage,
but have electricity in it.
To get him into the cage, and then once you have him at a secure site, I'd take him to Area 51. Because if you can't get that UFO flying, that motherfucker will get it flying. I guarantee you, he'll go in there, he'll flip some switches, he'll put some PVC pipes in, and that thing will be flying. We'll be going to Mars or whatever it is. You need to get Ranger Dave. Capture him.
What makes you think he's in
Be
Mars,
careful. Then? I heard a rumor.
How recently?
It's probably been 5 months.
Okay.
But I heard a rumor that... I just heard a rumor that makes it feel like he's still there.
What's he doing? Growing weed?
No.
There's a female there.
Forest ranger, park ranger, something like that. Game warden, maybe something like that.
He's fucking got a squad of Bigfoot.
Yeah, I know. I guarantee you, he's probably found Bigfoot, clipped his toenails already, and sent him back into the forest
through the time portal.
Yeah. You need DARPA. Or even, hey, Elon Musk. You want to go to Mars?
Oh, yeah.
You better fucking take Ranger Dave with you, because he will take all
Ranger Dave will take you with him.
When that fucking spaceship crashes into the fucking Mars surface, he'll be able to take all that bullshit, put it together, and make you a fucking doom buggy that you'll be able to zip around Mars on.
But be forewarned. Ranger Dave will take you to Mars, but in the middle of the night, Ranger Dave will pack his shit and leave you on Mars.
This is true. In the middle of the night, you'll just be like, where the fuck is Ranger Dave?
No sign of him. He'll even take the oxygen with him. Dude, right on. Not sure what that was.
And Ranger Dave, if you're listening, I still love you.
By far, the best way, cost effective, to get in to a reliable machine gun is to buy a AMAC series machine gun trigger pack, and then get a large manufacturing upper for it. Lage manufacturing upper. I don't know what. Weapons collection. I'm sure he knows.
Too much. You baffled me with too much information. I just want to buy a.
That sounds like a lot of work.
I just want to like trade some gold bars for an M60 machine gun or a 50 cal, and get it legally, transfer it through the fucking federal government, pay that stupid goddamn tax stamp. I would love to be able to do that, but I don't have any gold bars, and
crushing it with these podcasts. Skully needs to start a GoFundMe for a saw. If you're interested in that, just make some comments and shit.
I don't need a
How much would
GoFundMe
a
for
saw
a saw.
cost?
They're about $8,000.
8 for a saw.
For a saw, yeah.
What
Semi.
is it, a
Semi.
semi-auto?
Yeah, it's a semi. You technically can't get a saw full auto because it's a post 86. Meaning there's nobody out there that is selling and trading with them. Now, if you're a fucking SOT guy or whatever, you can build one and do the whole, I'm showing it to the local law enforcement, but outside of that, you can't really get one.
Outstanding production, thank you. I was splitting black oak today and broke my maul handle and wrecked my hand somehow. Fuck, man. On the farm, do you have a machine or split by hand? I've been swinging a maul for 30 years, and I don't think I want to anymore. It'll tear you up.
Yeah.
It'll build you up. But at a certain point, it will damage you. Like, can you do it? Do you stay in shape to be able to do it? Those are all great things. But at some point, like that, cutting wood is probably one of the most dangerous things you could do in like a long-term situation like that. Like, I've come so fucking close so many times to really fucking hurting myself. And then it takes days to recover just from the inflammation from it. We have a couple splitters. There's probably 10 chainsaws here. I've got some prosumer, like professional Husqvarna stuff. I've got some consumer Husqvarna stuff, like your 450 Ranchers and shit. I've got some Echoes that are much smaller, so Amanda could handle it and the kids could handle it. Believe it or not, I know you're not gonna fucking believe this. Jeff has a fucking DeWalt electric chainsaw, which fucking stomps every fucking piece of what we have. I mean, I have videos of it. It is fucking insane to see the electric chainsaw go.
I wouldn't want to cut serious trees. So,
yeah, you don't want to fall trees with
it's
it.
It's a 16-inch. It has a 16-inch, whatever you call it, cutting surface. So it's technically a small chainsaw. But man, I've cut shit. Like I had a tree go down at my house, and I just kept wedging it out till I got the motherfucker apart. But the beautiful thing about it is really,
and it's quiet.
It's the beautiful thing about it really is it's the lazy man chainsaw in the sense that there's no upkeep. You know, outside of changing the blade and making sure that there's oil in it. Every time I put a fucking battery on that thing, she's cutting. I'm cutting whatever I want to cut. I'm not out
you
in
don't
the garage
have to fuck
every
with the
week
carburetor every 6 months.
Yeah.
Or when you've left it sit for 90 days and it won't fucking start. And we have boxes of chain. Like I buy chain, I think 100 feet at a time. Yeah. We cut and build our own chains. Like we go through Bailey's. Like we have professional chainsaw cutting stuff. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And the one Jeff has, it's not even the big boy anymore. Like they have one that runs on 2 fucking batteries now. More fucking juice in the tank. Like it.
Yeah, I can cut.
And if you needed to cut in like a survival type situation, a chainsaw's fucking quiet. Like your neighbors aren't going to know you're fucking doing it.
I cut. I probably get about an hour and a half straight with that battery.
They've got a car charger for it.
You know, we cleared this church out over here. There's probably fucking 50 trees that they fell.
50 big boy trees.
And so I bought the whole series. They have a blower, they have a weed whacker, and they have a hedge trimmer. So I've got 4 batteries that are in the garage charging all the time, and I rarely have to, if I'm using any of that stuff, except for the blower. The blower uses a lot of power. I rarely have to go to a second battery.
Makita's got something like it. Wrangler Star really likes that Makita stuff, if I remember right. Jack Spearco's got an electric chainsaw that's a plug-in, and he loves that thing. And it's like a maybe Harbor Freight, maybe Milwaukee or something. But man, he really does like that fucking thing, and it's plug-in. I'm terrible with plug-in shit. Like, I will inevitably cut my cord. I had some plug-in fucking hedge trimmers. We've got a couple hedge trimmers. God, I could totally see losing a fucking finger on those things.
That just reminds me of I'm going to tell you a military story. So I'm doing this patrol. I'm at the advanced sniper course in Quantico. And my partner for this is a sergeant major in the Royal Marines. And we basically at night have to move this objective, watch the objective, report back over the radio, and then we're going to exfil in the morning. And so we get there. It's, we're not using NVGs. It's fucking pitch black, but we get into this fucking briar. We just get in the middle of this fucking briar. And these thorns are tearing us a fucking apart. And I am standing in the middle of this, and I get to a point where I am just fucking furious. And I got my clippers, and I'm just grabbing fucking thorns and clipping them and grabbing and clipping and grabbing and just fucking clipping these thorns and clipping it. And I grab these fucking and clip it. And as soon as I fucking clicked it, I knew. I fucking knew.
I thought finger at first.
I fucking cut the fucking handset wire right off the radio. So, cut. And I know what the SEALs are going to say. 1 is none, 2 is 1. We should have had an extra handset. The Marine Corps don't have extra handsets to give you.
SEALs don't fucking talk on radios. They only shoot people.
So there I am with this fucking thing, and we have to report back. So 3 hours, for 3 hours with a pin light. I've got a pin light, and I am stripping the wire back and fucking putting these wires together. Red wire to red wire, green wire to green wire. Took fucking 3 hours. All I could get it to do was fucking squelch, and we could listen to them talk, everybody else talk on the radio. Needless to say, they wanted me to buy that bad bear at the end of they wanted me to buy the bad bear at the end of that exercise. They're like, you have to pay for that fucking handset. I'm like, fucking handsets are a dime a dozen, bro. I'm not paying for that. They're like, yeah, you got to pay for it. It's 100 and some whatever, some crazy ass, government price. And I'm like,
and then you don't get to keep it.
I'm like, fuck, man, I can't. I don't have my checkbook with me. We're in the fucking, and they're like, you got to pay for that. So at the time I was at SOTG, and I'm like, McCrate, I need you to go to the commo, get a handset, and ship it, overnight it to me here at Quantico. And they overnighted me one, and I'm like, here, fags, here's your handset.
Bobby McCrate.
Yeah, Bobby McCrate. Sergeant Major wasn't even mad. Thought it was funny. I'm like, this is not funny.
John, your arms are bigger than before you started going to the gym. Keep up the good work. Yeah, I'm in a fucking medium right now, and I really probably need to be in a large. Still loving the podcast. Keep them coming. Hey, what do you mean still loving? Like, that's a fucking surprise. Like, you weren't sure you were going to like them? You doubted that in the beginning? Hey, Skully, what's your thoughts on Pepsi Zero? Personally, I think they are right up there with Diet Pepsi.
I can't get around. I mean, reality, I can't get around Pepsi Zero. I told you, I drink thousands and thousands. I drink thousands of gallons of this, and Pepsi Zero tastes more like regular Pepsi, and I can still kind of taste that. Even though it's not there, I feel like I'm tasting sugar. It's terrible. Diet Pepsi is fucking terrible. If you don't drink it regular, it's terrible. You're like, this is the nastiest soda ever. But once you get used to it, it's like, it's the thing.
Oh, back to the dude with the chainsaw thing. He asked what we used to split with. We actually have a hydraulic splitter that's got a small gas engine on it. Bought it from Tractor Supply. I want to say it was $900. Works fucking awesome. We had it sitting in a garage, not out in the weather or anything. In a garage. 90 days later, we go to use it, fire it up. Everything runs, but it won't fucking drive the ram. There is a little piece in there, kind of like, it looks like a castle nut almost, with 3 little arms. And that's a safety somehow. When it jams up, it breaks that. So if that's your plan to split wood, that's our biggest downfall. We have a lot of equipment. We don't run it enough. Like when we really actually need it, it fails because we've not maintained it. And it's not that we put it away broken or we put it away dirty.
Goes away clean.
It literally just, when we need it, it doesn't work, because we really need every 30 days just the first week of every month, start and drive all the vehicles on Monday. On Tuesday, start and drive all the tractors. On Wednesday, start and use all the generators. And when you do your generator cycle them under load. You need to actually plug some shit in there. And then as you put the shit away, turn all the gas lines off, turn all the fuel lines off, and run them till they're empty. Clean the car, run the carb out. That's our biggest downfall. We have a ton of, I literally have probably 2, if not 300 gallons of bar oil and pre-mix, 1 gallon pre-mix bottles, 2 gallon pre-mix bottles to dose the different size gas cans. We got all that shit. The gas, without fail, when we need the chainsaws, we go to start them, and we got to end up fucking pulling them apart, because we just didn't cycle them frequently. So log splitter.
And John's got, when he says he's got all that shit, he's got way too much of it. So it's almost a full-time job just to run through the equipment.
We have a lot of shit. I mean,
yeah, he's got there's 10 chainsaws out there.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of times when we're running, we got 6 dudes running saws.
10 chainsaws, 10 fucking weed eaters, 10. I mean, there's a lot of gear out there that it requires a full-time job, and the problem is the nylon gear is really the full-time job. So,
and we get dudes that show up I don't know, one dude. I'm sure that one dude's run a saw. I'll bet the other kid's never seen a chainsaw.
No, I bet he hasn't. Not in real life. He's seen it on a video though.
Yeah. I will tell you why nobody wants to work, because the government keeps half, then sales tax. That's bullshit. And so you're 40% tax bracket. I'm in a 45% tax bracket. Or I was. Trump changed a lot of that. Do you know that you don't pay 45% on every dollar? You fucking on your first $25,000, you're in one tax bracket. From your 25 to 50,000, you pay a different fucking tax bracket on that. When I say I'm in a 45% tax bracket, that's everything over, $180,000 is taxed at 45%. But if you're good, your job as a person with money is to end with no money at the end of the year. You want to. John Willis is a corporation. John Willis really makes no fucking money. The company makes money. So that's the deal. But most dudes saying what this dude here is saying is he doesn't fucking realize how that shit works.
Yeah, and it's not taxes that are keeping people from working. It's the fact that the government is giving you enough to sustain yourself, so you don't have to work.
Keep you down there, so they don't have to fucking control you.
They're not. People on welfare aren't making tons of money, but they're not starving either. And that is what gets people to fucking get off their ass and go to work.
The more you work, the more they take. People can't afford to work legally. The most people making money, i.e. self-employed, are doing it under the table. It is almost impossible for us to do anything under the table at this point. We get dudes that come in and pay cash. We just fucking deposit it. Cash coming in here, most of the places, if you stop and think about it, petty cash. Let's say we have dudes walk in here and drop a few $100s every day. I can't pay a mortgage with that. I can't pay a fucking car payment with that. They have literally, it is to the point right now, you can go out and, tip your waitress with cash. You could go buy some stuff at a flea market with cash or on Craigslist with cash, stuff like that, which is dangerous nowadays. But you can't do anything like an adult would do, like real responsibility shit. You can't do it with cash. You literally have to put it in a bank, which then it is now known, and then you can pay your bills with it. I couldn't go make a payment on my fucking lease on my truck. I couldn't make a payment on anything. I couldn't pay my electricity bill with fucking cash at this point. You can't do shit. So the whole working under the table thing, I spent a lot of time being off the radar. It's almost impossible now. It got to a point where I said, you know what, I'm going to live my fucking life. I'm not going to fucking... I literally was waiting for society to collapse. Everything was off the radar. Everything was fucking, done in a means that, nobody knew what we were doing. But you can only go so long doing that. If you want to be successful,
yep,
and you want to go and do more things, or you want to buy property or something like that, which was where we were at, You can't do that any longer. They literally, it has become impossible, and more so, it's becoming more and more impossible.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing something under the table, there's a point where you can be you can't be more successful, because you're going to get to a point where I want to be more successful. That means you have to step out into the light, and that light is going to shine on you, and once that light gets on you, the government's going to be like, hey, where's all the stuff you got coming from? How come we haven't got our taste?
You can't pay UPS account. You can't pay your FedEx account.
They're going to want a taste of that, and usually what the government will do is when they decide, let's say you have a successful business selling shoe porn, and they're going to assess the government. What the government will do is go, "Ooh, man, you got a pretty successful shoe porn thing, but you haven't been paying us, motherfucker. So we're just going to assess what we think the value is, and you owe us that in taxes."
And you can ignore those letters too.
but
they'll come take all your shit.
They'll come get you. So that's the hard part about trying to live in that.
Is it theft? Of course it's theft. But the dudes that are going to come are coming with guns.
Yeah. Shit, they go with guns to fucking arrest a dude that's 100 years old who has no passport. His wife is blind and he has 3 fucking cats.
Who was that?
That was Stone.
And how, if he's so dangerous, his passport had expired, he owns no guns, doesn't have a fucking firearm permit for wherever he was. If it was so dangerous that you had to send the SWAT team, why did you have the fucking news reporters?
Why was CNN there an hour earlier? And think about that. CNN was there an hour earlier. That might not have tipped. You weren't worried that was going to tip him off and he was going to skip town with his fucking expired passport, his blind wife, and fucking 3 cats. Really? That just shows you how fucking corrupt those people are. And by the way, watch that video. Look.
Just look at that up on YouTube, because he actually just did some interviews. Not only that, the FBI has been in his cell phone records and in his fucking emails for the last 2 years. They knew what he was doing and saying.
Watch that.
And on top of that, when he went before the magistrate let him out on a surety bond. That means it was on his signature. He didn't even have to put up any real property.
He didn't have to put no money up. But watch that video of the police going to his house and knocking on the door. It is really an episode of Keystone Cops. They are running into each other. They are carrying more weapons than they could possibly need. They're two-handing weapons. They brought breaching tools. I mean, it is a fucking Keystone Cop. I get it. Everybody wants to have a SWAT team, but come on, man. Can we do a little training? Shit.
The last public hanging was 1936 in Owensboro, Kentucky. That's my hometown. Oh, by the way, there was about 20,000 people that witnessed that last hanging.
Yeah, they actually, if you look up public executions, the thing that that governments were more worried about than preventing crime was the crowds were getting bigger and bigger. It started to get to the point where the government was, this happened in France, it happened here, where people were worried that there's going to be a frenzy, that they want this so bad that it's just going to get out of hand and people will start hanging motherfuckers all over the place, i.e. politicians.
The last guillotine, I believe, was in France in 1987. Rob and Brittany.
I'll bet he requested it too.
I can't find the pictures of the story about the polar bear attack anywhere. Does anybody know where to find any info?
I've replied to it. Was it late 90s, late 80s, early 90s? I'll see if I
oh, here you are, yeah.
I'll see if I can find those pictures, because it was just a series of pictures, and I honestly believe, don't tell my mother, but I honestly believe those pictures were in Penthouse. Maybe Playboy, but I honestly believe they were like a backstory, one of those backstories in the back of, for some reason I think Penthouse.
What was that crazy website Rummerfield used to like? Rotten.com?
Oh, Rotten.com. Look there. Look, I'll bet Rotten.
Or Faces of Death, maybe?
Yeah, I bet Rotten.com's got definitely...
That shit's supposed to be all... Like, I'm not saying go to the dark web or whatever. I've never been to... I don't even know how you go to the dark web. I've heard horror stories. But on YouTube, there's a bunch of shit about crazy shit on the dark web. And there's a bunch of that type of shit on the dark web. I watched a dude... black dude... Seems to be in the ghetto. got a lot of fucking following, man. His YouTube had, I want to say, 500,000 fucking subscribers. He's sitting at a park smoking, looks like Swisher Sweet or something. He's like, so I wanted to get a silencer, so this dude told me to go to the dark web. So he gave me a fucking web address, and I went to the dark web, and all of a sudden my computer died. So I took it to this other dude, and he's like, yeah, I can fix your computer. You downloaded a virus and fried your motherboard, but we can build a new one. But you want to go get like the old AOL browser fucking CDs? That's the way to do it. Apparently you got to have a computer that's not on the fucking internet at all to do that shit. But that's what they say is on there. There's all kinds of crazy shit on there. I can't find the pictures. It was the early 80s, 90s. SBRs are stupid easy to do right now. The ATF turned on e-file back in October. I submitted online early October, and it came back approved in 13 days.
Wow.
All you have to do is mail in your fingerprints card. Suppressors are still ridiculous. I'm still waiting 10 months later for one.
Yeah, I think I'm at month 9 for my second one.
Where do the best snipers come from, Skully? Never held gun dudes or born hunting hillbillies. What's your experience?
I mean, I don't know. The reality is, I used to. So when I was teaching it, the basic course, my thing was I would, once we got a new class of students on deck, I would have everybody raise their hand that fucking. I was like, okay, how many in here fucking grew up shooting guns and hunting? And it used to be, in the early days, like the whole class, like the guys that wanted to be scout snipers were fucking. They were woodcrafts. They were fucking kids from the Midwest that shot guns their whole lives. And I don't know why I kept holding my hand up there. Shot guns their whole life, and it used to be that way. You go into a sniper class right now at Camp Pendleton. Maybe not so much at Lejeune. I'm not sure, but definitely at Camp Pendleton. And you ask that same question, you're going to be in the minority if you raise your hand. So I don't know. We're just not doing that anymore. We're not giving our kids 22s and like, hey, go out in the woods and kill squirrels.
Or even BB guns.
Yeah, or even BB guns. So where do the best snipers come from? They come from right in here. Because the 100%, without any hesitation, it's all in here. It's all in your heart. How much heart you have is whether or not you will graduate Scout Sniper School. How much heart you have is whether or not you will be a good sniper. Because we graduate a lot of snipers that aren't very good snipers. Ultimately, the best snipers come from the Marine Corps, and I will say, and the only reason why I say that, before all you fucking Special Forces guys get your Ranger panties in a twist, and all you SEALs start peeing yourself, the Marine Corps is the only service where that is a job title in itself. Everybody else is a secondary MOS. So Navy SEAL, hey, you want to go to sniper school? Goes to sniper school, spends 6 years of his life swimming, doing CQB, whatever other SEAL bullshit they do, and then one day they're like, hey, here's a sniper rifle you had 10 years ago. Go out and shoot this. That's not a good idea for a program. It's the same way in the Army. They don't have guys. That's not a designated spot for guys in the Army. I think they're trying to change that where a lot of infantry battalions and stuff like that they have designated platoons, but it's not an MOS. The guy is still a 03. So what that does is it kind of screws that guy. You put all that time and effort to train him for that specific skill set, but then you go, oh, by the way, we need an 03 to go over here and fucking run this machine gun. The Marine Corps learned that the hard way a long time ago. So we have that billet. So from fucking Lance Corporal on up to kind of gray area, maybe some gunny. You can get a little gunny in there. You can be in a Scout Sniper billet and carry that fucking rifle. So if you're talking 10 years, that's a long time with a sniper rifle. So the best snipers are in the Marine Corps, of course. So I don't know. It's all in here though. It doesn't have anything to do with, like, I can get a guy, if you've got the heart and you aren't gonna fucking quit, because that's the hardest thing with anything we do anymore. Is everybody is so they're just so willing to quit. I honestly would be very interested in the SEAL statistics of how many people actually are ringing that bell. If the curve is going up, if they got more people running to that bell, because they actually, I don't want to say encourage, but when that fucking bell is there and you can just quit, it's like, I don't have to be cold, I don't have to be hungry, I don't have to be tired, I can just quit. I wonder how their bell curve is, as far as are they actually losing more people now than they were. As far as sniper school is, they don't have a choice. Now guys do fucking DOR, but it's not like they have a choice. I'm gonna keep fucking kicking you down the road, keep fucking pushing you through that stock lane, even after you've given up on yourself, because I need people to graduate sniper school. The Navy, I mean, I don't know, maybe a little different now, because, times are tough. The Navy doesn't need people to graduate buds. There's fucking 10 dudes lined up ready to go. Marine Corps a little bit different, but as far as any of that, it's really what's inside you. If you are not going to quit, if you're not going to quit, everything else is teachable. All those skill sets down there at sniper school are teachable. I just need somebody who's not going to quit, because the reality is, when you go out and do a real fucking scout sniper mission, when you go out and do a real mission in support of an infantry battalion, unless you have a really good company commander, really good battalion commander, they're going to fucking forget about you. They're not going to bring you water. They're not going to bring you chow. They're going to be like, fuck those snipers and their fucking sniper mission. We got more important things to do. And your ass is going to be out there on your own. And in those small teams, I need a no-quitter. I need a guy that is going to fucking lose his legs and fucking keep pushing. Keep fucking going. And that's all in here. That's all in here. Everything else, there's nothing in the sniper MOS that is not teachable. It may take some people longer to get it than other people, but it's teachable. You can teach them. You cannot teach somebody to have heart. You cannot. They don't have the fucking will. It's kind of like, the argument I used to always make about an NDOC for going into Stapleton. What battalion commanders would want to do is they'd be like, oh, just take 3 dudes from each company and they'll be in your scout sniper platoon and be snipers. If the guy does not want to be, first off, if the dude doesn't want to be there because he'd rather be in Alpha Company playing video games at noon instead of out in the field, he's not going to, I can't teach him anything. He's not going to be any good. And that's a critical skill set. It's a critical skill set, and the Marine Corps fucks that up. They don't take that skill set seriously enough. They're trying to change stuff, but even today, all the young kids in there today, I know you're going to hate me, boys, but you need to stop whining about your equipment, and you need to start learning. You need to fucking start learning how to use it. You don't need a new rifle if you can't outshoot the old rifle. We're still fucking around with shit that doesn't make any sense to fuck around with. Anyways, I went off of a tangent, but it's all about here. It doesn't really matter where you come from. I can take a kid from the heights of New York City, fucking some swamp rat from Alabama, and some kid from Beverly Hills. If they have the heart, if they really, really fucking want to do it, I can make them a scout sniper. I can make them a good scout sniper, because that's all it's about. It's really about do you have the heart to do it? If you think about any of the special operations community, whether that's special forces guys, Delta guys, Navy SEAL guys, that's really what they're looking for. They're really looking for that. They don't. Yeah, it's cool that you can do 500 pull-ups, but if you can just do 500 pull-ups and you drop down instead of doing 501 or struggling to get 2 more, you basically quit. You're like, look, I did my 20 pull-ups. I'm good to go. I'm off the bar. You've basically shown that you're going to quit when it starts to get hard. I really want the kid that is fucking struggling, kicking, screaming, doing everything he can to get that extra pull-up or whatever it is that we're doing. And that's what, any of the NDOCs, that's whether it's buds, whether you're going through selection for special forces or the fucking selection that they have for Delta or any of those fucking things. That's what they're looking for. They're really looking to see if you have the heart, if you have the fortitude to keep going when everything is fucked up. Because it's it's real easy. It's real easy to be Sailor of the Year if everything is going your way. Try being Sailor of the Year when the fucking deck is falling out from beneath you. It makes a big difference, and that's really the guy you want. You don't have to be you don't have to be super smart. You don't have to be super fast. You don't have to be super studly. You just have to have the heart. I know guys that we had guys that fucking were definitely not fast, couldn't do 20 pull-ups, but you get up, you put a fucking rucksack on their back, and you give them the Barrett 50 cal, and the fucking strongest guys in the battalion couldn't keep up with them. They're going to accomplish that mission over anything. The mission is the most important thing, and that's the attitude you have to be to be a real scout sniper. Mission above all else. Above all else. It doesn't matter what, we're going to accomplish the mission. So, anyways, that's my take.
Isn't that the same thing everywhere in life, though? Like, it's the same dude that's getting to work at fucking 7:30 but doesn't walk through the door until fucking 8 o'clock. It's the same when fucking at 5 o'clock they'd fucking turn that sewing machine off rather than finishing the extra and leaving at 5:02 to finish that piece of gear. It's the same when we're in here doing a podcast and one of these dudes at fucking 5:30 or 6 o'clock, I don't know where they're at, so he just clocks out and leaves rather than picking up a broom. It's the same thing everywhere in fucking life. It's the fucking motivation and the self starter. Love the podcast. I work in the social service field, now in the criminal justice system. So social service is now part of criminal justice. Is that what I just heard?
Depends on where you're at.
I believe the welfare system is perpetual and is perpetuated by the cycle of trauma. Search ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. Bullshit. Well, okay, go. I've been through Psychology 101. My dad is a fucking psychologist. Okay, but what about all the people doing great shit that aren't on fucking welfare that had fucked up childhoods? Because there's fucking a lot of them.
You can't. It's
more
about.
to it. Keep going.
Go ahead.
It's really interesting. I'm not making excuses for people, but it gives an inside look, science, into why people never get out of their rut. That said, people are resilient and need a good community. Correct. What about all those dudes that just fucking kept fucking hammering away and made it, and great shit has fucking happened and they're fucking doing great shit for people? Along those same lines, why don't we take all those people who are not ever going to fucking make it because they had shitty childhoods and just make sure they can't fucking breed and perpetuate that?
I would say, it's about opportunity, of course. You can't reward. It's hard. Okay,
take that fucking welfare away. Take that fucking welfare away and let them starve for a little while, and let's see which ones rise and which oones we fucking put on an island somewhere and give them welfare.
You have emotional response that if you if you meet some whatever because of the situation you're working in, I'm sure you're working with lower income people, and you have an emotional response if you see somebody that has been traumatized, however that may be, through physical violence, sexual assault, blah, blah. You have an emotional response because you feel sorry for that person, because the reality is there was nothing you could do to help them. It's already done and played out. There's nothing you can do to help them. And so the emotional response to that is you want to recognize that, and you want to apologize for something that you had nothing to do with. That's kind of the problem with this. What you really should be doing is you should be allowing them to recognize that they are better than that, and giving them the opportunity to lift themselves up. If you don't give them the opportunity to lift themselves up, and you just codify their problem, if you keep saying, "Oh, you're such a victim," then they will be a victim forever. They will be a victim forever. You're not helping them by codifying that victimhood. They need to rise above it. Everybody is a victim of something. They need to rise above it. And an example, I'll use a military example. And I know it's not the same as sexual assault or any of those terrible things that are going on in those impoverished communities. But the military. So the first time I went over to Iraq, we were in the worst place that you could go in Iraq. The Army had a brigade in there. That means helicopters, tanks. They had a brigade in this area, and they fucking left. They're like, this place is crazy. We're leaving. It was considered the wild, wild west of Iraq at the time. This is before Fallujah happened. So they send a Marine company. Now, compared to a brigade, that's a little teeny, a reinforced Marine company, right? And at that time period, this is after the war ended, but before all the fucking shenanigans in Fallujah started kicking off, before other places started kicking off, the most combat in Iraq was in Husaybah at that time. Like, when the pilots came in and dropped bombs for us, they would send us thank you notes and, oh my God, this is the best shit ever. So the most combat. And these kids in that rifle company, they saw some heinous shit. They saw some pretty bad stuff. For the most part, the company was pretty good. The company commander and the company, especially the company gunny, really good at mitigating those things. Like, you got to make sure that you clean the fucking mess up really quick. Everybody doesn't need to be fucking gawking at dead bodies and all that bullshit. But when we came back,
who was cleaning up the dead bodies?
The
company got own dead bodies.
Well, we recovered. So for us, anything that was blown up, anything that we lost in the field, we brought back. We recovered it. Okay. So we didn't leave any. There was no. The thing is, you don't want to give. Because ISIS would be there the next day with a fucking camera going, look at our fucking Humvee that they destroyed. Gotcha. So we dragged that shit out so they couldn't fuck with it. When we came back, I believe there was one individual. I'm sorry, there was two. I had one in one of the squads that I'd taken out. Two people that were claiming PTSD, that had post-traumatic stress disorder. Two people. And at that time, nobody was talking PTSD. And it was basically, you two, get the fuck out of here. Everybody else, put your fucking boots on. We're going to the field. We're going to train. Because guess what? In 6 months, we're going again. Okay? And everybody was fine. Everybody was fine. The next time we went over, stuff was a little more pacified in that area. Not quite as much combat. A little bit of stuff happened. I'm not going to say it didn't, but... it wasn't Sans Iwo Jima. The next time we come back, the command themselves, the people at 29 Palms, they're all going, hey, you got PTSD. You've got PTSD. You have to have PTSD. You were over in combat. You have to have PTSD. So now we got a bunch of motherfuckers running around talking about how they have PTSD. Because we're encouraging it. You're encouraging that victimhood. If you encourage that victimhood, it will spread like a fucking fire.
You don't think part of that's drug trials? Chemical trials?
Not really, because they kind of nipped that in the bud once they figured out how much that shit was costing. At the Marine Corps level, it's all about dollars and cents. So, I had a Marine, fucking outstanding Marine. A fucking killer, an outstanding Marine. And he was having some problems. When he got back, he was having some issues. And instead of coming to me and talking about it, we're obviously it's the Marine Corps, so everybody's super macho, all alpha wolves. Instead of coming to me and talking to it, he goes to the doc. The doc sends him to the hospital. The hospital immediately prescribes him with some medication, and they send him back. Well, he comes skipping through the door, like, I know the minute I see him that he has been medicated because of the way he is fucking acting. I let it go for a couple days, and he keeps getting worse and worse. So I take him aside and I'm like, look, I know you're having some issues. I know that they're giving you medication. I'm like, tell me why you think you need that. Tell me why you think you need the medication. Because you are not the same person anymore. They have fucking physically changed you. We talked it through. The next day, he's like, you were 100% right. Fuck this stuff. And threw it away. Now, I know. I know. There's going to be a bunch of you that are like, oh, drugs saved my sister, blah, blah, blah. There is a case. Yes, possibly. But this was easily solved just by talking through it, and he's fine. He's fucking fine. He's successfully still married. He's a successful operator all over the world. He just needed to know that what happened was okay. That's it. He just needed to know what happened was okay, and he needed to get fucking kicked in the ass and told fucking move out. We're getting ready to go over again. So, I mean, you cannot, I know it's hard, but you cannot continue to fucking recognize victimhood as if it's a lifelong thing that you're carrying around for the rest of your life. Because guess what? You're not. You're not. It's fucking over. It's behind you. Move forward and become successful. And get off welfare.
And that's not fucking at you, Axe Greenius.
No, I mean you're doing God's work.
When he says you, he means us.
If you're down there I am not down there in the trenches. I'm not down there in the trenches. You are doing God's work. But man, think about what you're doing, and think about those people that you keep seeing over and over and over again, and why you keep seeing them over again. And you got to come to a point where you need to understand that what you're doing is not working if nobody is leaving that victim cycle. If they're not leaving that victim cycle, then whatever it is, whatever program that the government's pushing is not fucking working.
Then he says, also, have not needed to buy SUV gear lately. That rifle bag looks like a for sure buy. You guys keep up the awesome content. Fuck Hillary Clinton.
I wouldn't fuck her.
AKs and Glocks. This is the last one we got. John, Skully, what do you guys think about dudes like David Goggins? He has a very similar message as you guys. Do shit, get shit done. So do you know the reason you know who Goggins is because of fuck, I cannot think of his name now. Peterson. Dude wrote a book called Live Like a Navy SEAL. He found Goggins, had Goggins come live with him for a year, paid Goggins to come live with him for a year. That's why you know who Goggins is. Goggins has been on Oprah. He's all over the place. Great message. Watch him. Pull up, if you don't know who he is, pull up David Goggins. And just watch any one of his videos, 20, 30 minutes long. Definitely worth listening to. He lives in Nashville. Most recently, I heard he ran 13 century marathons. That, for you guys that don't know, that's 1,000 miles. Ran 13 of those. I want to say back to back in a period of 13 weeks, ran 13,000 miles. He has ran in his life right now, I think last I heard was 65,000 miles. He has ran something fucking absolutely insane.
I don't even want to know what his knees look like.
But check him out. Fucking great content. You can hear a lot of different shit. You can have 20 dudes saying literally about the same thing, and you will click with one or two. The guys I like might not deliver the message in the way you like. It's just like going to church. You can go to 20 churches. You'll find one church that really you fucking belong at. Or same with, motivational speaking or whatever it is. You guys listening to us, and there's dudes like, you should be on fucking the Joe Rogan show. We don't say anything. We don't bring anything to the Joe Rogan show. We don't have anything, to go there with. It's just in the method that it's delivered. So Goggins, check him out. He says cool shit for sure. I can watch 4 or 5 of his videos, but when I go to watch the 6th or the 7th, literally what I found with a lot of those dudes is there's 80 pieces of content out. They all say the exact same story over and over and over and over and over.
Which is what I do.
It's the same thing on Oprah and more. It's the same thing on everything. If you like Goggins, definitely listen to Goggins. Vanderchuck has some shit, definitely. I can only listen to him so long, and then you realize it's the same thing, and you got to take a break from it. Andy Frisella, great shit. Andy Frisella has a lot of different shit in a lot of different directions. Same with Sean Whalen. A lot of dudes. The biggest thing is just fucking go do something. Every day, do something. And listen to what you need to listen to make that happen. I find a lot of times when I'm listening to that while I'm working, I'm not fucking working and actually getting shit done. So a lot of times I'll listen to 1 or 2, turn it off, put music on, and then actually get some shit done. So the biggest thing in the end is that you did something. Just fucking do something. Just make something fucking happen. And all you guys talking about your side hustle, I think you're all full of shit when you say side hustle if you don't actually fucking say what you're doing. Most of you say that because you want to play business or pretend business when you say side hustle. When you don't actually say what you're doing, it's because you don't want to be held accountable.
I saw side hustle in a tax thing.
In a tax thing.
Yes, it was the government actually classifies a side hustle. Side hustle is a hobby. So if you have
a hobby which is making money.
Yeah, a hobby which is making money, and it was kind of weird. They will actually allow you to deduct the amount of money that the side hustle made.
Only because they want you to come above board and be able to tax you on it.
Because they want you to come above board, but it's interesting.
There's some way to... That's rerun the pimp. He's going to get his money.
Yep, he's going to get his money.
He's going to get his money.
Uncle Sugar's going to get his.
Comes to a time machine fucking 100 years later. No, you don't understand. Rerun's going to get his money.
You don't own... There's nothing in your life that you own. There's nothing you don't, like, pay off your house. Don't pay the property taxes.
See what happens.
There's nothing that we actually own. And anytime they want to fucking...
Now, with you retards that are like, I'm not going to buy a house because you never own it, are you better off if you own the house and still pay the property taxes? Fuck yeah, you are. Because then it appreciates and you can sell it, or you can basically have a wall until you do something stupid and it starts getting looked inside. You can pretty much do whatever you want inside your walls.
The difference is, too, is if you're putting the money into a something that you own, doesn't have to be a fucking house. But if you're putting the money into something you own, that money's going to come back to you. Instead of you giving me your money and me cashing those checks and me buying a Porsche because you keep giving me your money every month.
If you don't work on your dreams, somebody else will be happy to have you work on theirs. Mm-hmm. Somebody else, you're gonna do something, or you're probably not listening to our show. But all you guys talking about doing shit, put up or fucking shut up. Like, I don't care whether you guys have some side business. I don't care if you work for somebody else, if that's what you choose to do. But stop telling me about the shit you're going to do and tell me about what you fucking actually did. I don't get anything making those videos at 5:30 out in the fucking cold every morning. I do that shit so none of you little motherfuckers can say, John didn't get up and go to the gym today. That's what accountability.
And every time I stare at that door, looking at the clock, and I'm like, man, am I going to get a day off? And he fucking comes through that door every single time. I'm like, God damn it. Thought I was going to go out in my truck and go to sleep.
It's accountability. Start telling us what you did, not what you're going to do. And then fucking do something worth doing, and we'll do fucking something with you. We'll take your fucking product and fucking implement it and sell it. Fucking make something happen.